We have this whole release the memo effort, which is now being outrageously opposed by the left and the establishment, and yes, the Justice Department and FBI. So I like Jeff Sessions, but he's recused himself from the Russia investigation. So on these important public policy matters and anti-corruption matters, it's the deep state running the show at the Justice Department. And so the Justice Department is opposing the idea of professionals in the House Intelligence Committee reviewing the dossier information, summarizing material in a way that can be shared with the American people ultimately. And they're calling that reckless because the Justice Department wants to get its hands on this info because they know it's going to make the Justice Department and FBI look bad. Because what is the issue allegedly? The dossier, paid for by Hillary Clinton, was used, it looks like, to obtain FISA FISA warrants, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants, which are secretive, against the Trump team. And the concern is they didn't tell the court that they were using Clinton campaign propaganda and mudslinging to justify using the FBI and Justice Department to spy on Team Trump. Based on what we've been told about what's in that memo that hasn't been released yet, that's almost for sure what's in there. No wonder the Justice Department wants to get its hands on it. The deep staters. So this is the process. The Intelligence Committee has to vote on it to release the information because it may or may not be classified. And then the President Trump, has 5 days to object. And you can bet he's going to receive a lot of pressure from the establishment class to object. But even if he objects, because this is a House product, the House can vote in full to release the document. And I think the intelligence professionals at the House Intelligence Committee working for the Republicans are smart enough to protect truly classified information that, if released, would harm our national security. But I tell you what my experience is. The government misuses classified material, or the ability to classify material, to keep government corruption information away from the American people. And it's not about national security, it's about protecting their own hides. In the case of Hillary Clinton, they were actually not classifying material because they didn't want to embarrass her or put her in further legal jeopardy by having more classified material for people to point to justify her arrest. These are the folks telling the House, don't release this information to the American people, so the American people have information as to how the Justice Department and the FBI conducted itself during the Obama administration, during this political campaign, where it looks like they were turned into tools of the Clinton operation to spy on President Trump. So you got to ask your members of Congress where they stand on this, I would suggest. But in the meantime, Judicial Watch is asking for the underlying documents. We shouldn't have to rely on summary data presented by the House of Representatives to find out the truth of what went on. The underlying applications in support of the warrants should be declassified and released. The dossier information should be declassified and released. All these text messages should be released. I don't know why they're sending it to Congress. I mean, Congress can withhold the text messages. We don't know what they're getting, how much they're getting, whether anything is being improperly withheld. There's got to be a legal process for getting it out. And but this Justice Department, because they're allowing the bureaucracy to run it, is less transparent than the Obama Justice Department. I'm telling you that. It's not good news, it's bad news. I know we're on the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's inauguration, but that's been a major issue. The Justice Department and the FBI are completely out to lunch on transparency. They're hostile to it and playing show games. They've been playing on these text messages. The arrogance and corruption we've been getting from those agencies on these, we're used to a lot of games from the government. But when we're told, when we know there's information out there and we call them on it, and they basically tell us to go and sue us in court if you want it, we talk about contempt for the rule of law and accountability. But that's what we're getting from the FBI run by Christopher Wray. At least Jeff Sessions has some plausible deniability. He's not involved in the Russia issues, I would presume. What's Chris Wray's defense? And let me say something about the FBI director. It's been reported, and I know the reports can sometimes not be true, but quite credibly, that there was pressure by the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, appropriate, to remove his number 2, Andrew McCabe, at the FBI. Now, who's Andrew McCabe? Judicial Watch exposed him to be a anti-Trump, pro-Hillary Clinton partisan. His wife received $500,000 plus, or $700,000, from one of Clinton's cronies, Terry McAuliffe, the corrupt governor of Virginia. And he didn't recuse himself from the Clinton email investigation until just a week before the election in 2016. He should have been recused. He's under a series of investigations over misconduct and politicizing his position. And Sessions said, well, why is this guy still here? And of course, he's also been implicated in these text messages as part of the insurance policy discussion. Why is he still there as number 2? Now, Judicial Watch disclosures have led to pressure, which supposedly means he's going to resign or retire in March. But supposedly, Chris Wray said, if you're going to force me to fire Andrew McCabe, I'm going to quit. So Chris Wray is obviously part of the problem. He's defending Andrew McCabe. Peter Strzok is still at the FBI. Lisa Page, as best as I know, is still at the FBI. There's enough there to in the least, remove them from the premises. Suspend them. And maybe some significant criminal action. But this is a crisis of confidence. A rule of law crisis. The FBI, fundamentally at the top levels, I know there are honest people who work at the FBI, the agents. We talk to a bunch of these retired agents. They know what's happening. The leadership is completely, at least the new leadership, they're oblivious to it. The old leadership that's still running the show in large measure is corrupted. The agency needs top-to-bottom reform. I don't know if it can be saved. Justice Department, same deal. So I think this is a race now, because the news is Robert Mueller, the out-of-control, unconstitutional, conflicted, compromised Robert Mueller operation, they want to interview President Trump. I guess that's not news. It was perfectly foreseeable. And so they're negotiating with the president's lawyers as to what the status of that is going, whether that's going to happen, and what types of questions are going to be asked, which is just typical. That's not it's not unusual that negotiations taking place. President Trump comes out and says, "Oh, I'll talk to them under oath, or I'll be happy to sit down and talk to them." But his lawyers have other ideas, because obviously there's significant legal jeopardy to anyone talking to this FBI, DOJ, Mueller operation. And given the conflicts and the compromise and the bias at his operation, boy, I don't know if I would do that. So there's a race now, because I think the memo that is going to expose the dossier, the further release of text messages, is going to further undermine the Mueller operation. Some have suggested that if the memo comes out, the Mueller operation would be shut down. So you can bet Mueller is eager to depose or question Mr. Trump before this memo comes out. So there's a race. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just giving you my analysis of it. So it's important this information come out either way. And so the process is proceeding, and we'll see what happens with the House. But in the meantime, Judicial Watch has the lawsuits to get the info.